guys, so today we've been invited to take a look around one of our most iconic resident boats, Delvina. So Delvina's our biggest boat here at Yarmouth Harbour at just over 80 foot or 24 metres. It is one that immediately catches your eye as soon as you pull up here at Yarmouth Harbour. So I don't know about you, but I've always wanted to take a look inside and meet the owner, Ben. So Ben and Debbie, thank you so much for coming on the channel today and inviting us on board Delvina.
Pleasure, absolute pleasure.
So before you give us the tour around your absolutely beautiful boat, we do always like to ask our guests on the channel of why Yarmouth, what makes you reside here?
Well, I think it's the most beautiful part of England. You know, fully south as well. We get more sunshine days here than anywhere else. And it's so authentic. This is your proper, old school, old-fashioned, lovely, lovely place.
And you have got such a beautiful berth here as well, haven't you?
Yes.
Very beautiful
I think
berth,
we
yeah.
got the best spot, didn't we?
And of course the world and their wife come to Yarmouth from
Of course.
everywhere else, so
Yep.
why not Yarmouth, you know?
Yeah.
Mecca for all boaters really, isn't it?
Yeah, and I suppose as you're here quite a lot as well, you've probably made a lot of friends around the harbour, so you see familiar faces all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which is very
loads,
nice. And it's a
loads.
harbour, of course, as opposed to a marina, which is really fabulous. It's so much nicer than a marina because people coming and going every day.
Yeah.
And they're always happy
Yeah.
when they arrive.
They're all on holiday, exactly.
Well, this is true. You really do feel like it's an actual holiday resort here, don't you?
Yeah.
So I'm going to hand the mic over to you guys now, and Ben, you're going to give us the whole tour through the boat, if that's all right.
Pleasure. So this is Bobbity and Pickle.
Yes.
They are multi-poos.
This is Sir Bobbity, to get it right. And this is Mr. Pickle. Hello. Yes.
They're multi-poos, about a year old.
Yes. They're very good
And they're
swimmers.
definitely not the Messiah, they're very naughty boys.
But they look very angelic.
They do, they do. So here we are on the, what we like to call the gin and tonic deck, which of course everybody will understand. Great for, of course, being out of the sun, if you want out of the sunshine sort of activities, you know, evening drinks. We play chess out here with obviously our thrones,
Yes,
his and her
definitely.
thrones. And then we'll wander through into the saloon. So a little bit of history on the boat. The boat is a custom-built aluminium motor yacht, twin-engine motor yacht. It was designed by Laurent Giles, a very established and renowned British marine architects. It was commissioned by Robert Iliff, or Lord Iliff, as he is known, of the Iliff family, who are publishers and in more recent years the owners of MDL Marina. And he commissioned it in 1989 and it was launched in 91. He used it pretty much extensively to go to the Royal Yacht Squadron, because that was where he was the Commodore, and it has seen many years of good use and lots of famous people. We've had, who do we have on it? We had
I was just going to ask
Prince
you, like,
Philip,
you
we had
name
Prince
them,
Philip
yeah.
on board. I've seen pictures of Prince Philip on board, and obviously
Okay.
he had many other people that came on board, you know, dignitaries and royals and what have you over the years. We've not really had anybody of any note, unfortunately, as yet, but you know, still time. The boat was custom built by Berthons, so nice and local. Did an amazing job. They were going to build a series of them, but then they only built this one in the end because it was an epic project. Because back in the 90s, these boats didn't really exist, you know. Pleasure sort of, if you like, modern super yachts didn't really exist, you know. They were all of a much more classic look and feel. And when they built this, they built it with cutting edge technology, which of course is, you know, ancient now, but nonetheless, you know, for a boat that is 80 feet long, it's what they call a semi-displacement. And brief really was that he wanted a boat that he could do 30 knots in, of this size. They're brief. They had to get this boat to do 30 knots, which for an 80-foot boat is an insane amount of speed. And so they worked very hard, and they managed to hit that target literally just before just before they actually delivered it. They managed to get it to the target, because obviously if they hadn't reached that target, then they would have been in breach of their contract. So there was all sorts of, you know, real pressures on them. Over the years, we've had many people come on board who were involved with the build. Only yesterday we had the project manager or the assistant project manager. So really lovely. People come on board. They know the boat. They've been involved in the build. The joiner's still alive, I believe, and working on the island. You know, it's a testimony to British workmanship. and it's all original, apart from some of the soft furnishings which my wife is responsible for. Some of the fabrics she designed, not this one here, but the fabric of the curtains and things. So she's a fabric designer by trade.
So she's done an amazing job with all the colour
And
scheme in here.
yeah, I mean, it was
It
very,
really
very,
works
it was
well.
very austere and rather sort of dated when we got it. But as I said, it's all soft furnishings that we've done rather than anything else, you know, because the boat itself stands in its own right as a really fabulous piece of machinery and a work of art, really.
Definitely.
Yeah, but it's an enormous dining table. Now there was a suite of furniture made for the boat. There was a coffee table and a couple of side. Yeah, compendium of games, a games compendium, and but it was very, very heavy and bulky, and we had 2 coffee tables. But he commissioned this to be built for the boat, and the bill for this table was £50,000 in the day. And you think,
Wow.
that was so. This is basically, you know, a piece of rainforest. I mean, it's a solid mahogany table.
Absolutely stunning.
And I was told by the skipper that they went to Scotland once on the boat, and this table can be shackled down because they went to Scotland, and even though it's really heavy and really stable, they got into such bad weather the table fell over. So you can imagine how bad that was. Into the galley, which has some interesting features. For instance, these doors are balanced, so they're cantilever balanced, so they've got a chain that joins them together, because when you're underway, if they weren't joined together, every time the boat moved, the doors would open and close. So this way they don't do that, because one counteracts the other. So, and that was what I learned yesterday from the guy who actually designed it, who was on board. So that's rather nice. But it's really good because they don't. Yeah, exactly. So a full galley. The windows, a little feature that's really rather nice is all the windows are pneumatic. So basically you can open and close the windows with compressed air. They do sound a little bit like the Addams Family, of course, creaking, but it's got some lovely old features like, you know, classic old fridge, but all built in, you know, custom made. You've just seen our filthy secret of those goo puddings in there. This is sort of the larder where you've got, you know, all your bits and pieces. The kitchen.
It's all so neat and compact though, isn't it? There's a place for
Yeah,
everything.
exactly. So very nice day heads with heated clothes cupboard for wet gear and everything. So it's heated and drained. All of the doors, all the external doors are all. It's got many external doors, which is again another really nice feature. You know, and they're all bulkhead doors, so they're extremely strong, and you can lock them all, double lock them all with pegs and everything. So they're, you know, if this is an ocean-going boat, so this is, you know, it's built to Lloyd's Class A, and it basically you could take it pretty much anywhere. We on the other hand don't tend to go anywhere with it, because why would you go anywhere when we can stay in Yarmouth? Which is marvellous. As I said earlier on, everybody comes to Yarmouth, so we just stay in Yarmouth. This is part of this is the sort of the electrical system, all analogue for the most part. We've made a few little upgrades over the years, but kept all of the dials the same. So these are all new, but they are all the original sort of style. We went and found everything to match the existing. But for the most part, it is original. It has an aluminium hull, so it's very lightweight. Twin generators, pretty much 2 of everything, because redundancy. And we'll show you in the engine room the sliding weight stabilizer, which is very interesting. So this is the helm position. Again, a little bit of digital as far as the engines are concerned, but generally still analog. We've got a great tannoy system here, which we can talk to anywhere on the boat when we're coming to moor, and you can hear anybody else talking around the boat as well. So very useful. You don't have to wander around looking like Madonna with a headset on. You can literally just talk on the foredeck, and I can hear it through the tannoy, and then I can hail anybody in each direction. So it's very handy. It's got autopilot, old satellite phones and things. You know, it's got. We've kept all the original features. This phone you can literally dial round to any room in the boat, which is nice, and demand your tea or your gin and tonic be brought to you. And then I run around like a lunatic doing that, obviously.
love so far is the fact that you've got all of the original features, and yet it still feels really spacious and modern somehow. It's so well kept together, and you've done a really good job maintaining.
Very nicely designed, beautifully designed. As I said, it's a testimony to it. I mean, we've had to do a lot of work. It hadn't been used for a couple of years when we bought it, so we did do a lot of commissioning, recommissioning, but generally everything, originally still works.
Yeah.
So we'll go up to the Flybridge, into the lovely sunshine. And so a helm position up here with obviously seating for many people.
This is a fantastic space for entertaining, and just like we said earlier, literally the prime spot in the harbour. You've got all
Absolutely,
of the going on outside. You're right in the know of everything inside. I can see why you love it here so much.
Yes, indeed, 180-degree views of the Saloon, which of course is absolutely magical.
You're on a line going out as well.
It's all happening.
It's all happening.
Well, this is the great thing, isn't it, about Yarmouth? Being in the harbour here, it's lovely. We've got plenty of room up here for tenders. There's actually used to be 3 tenders up here. We only have 1 currently, which we bring up utilising the davit cranes, which are sort of hidden surreptitiously into the handrail, which are very nice, and we can deploy them and pick up the boat either side, which is very useful.
Yeah.
Obviously, nice and capacious sun deck. Sometimes we put a hot tub up here,
Lovely.
and I took it away last year because people were very misbehaving, and so we. Of course, the other thing to just say is that the harbour itself, or the harbour and the management of the harbour, probably the best that I've been to in most of my travels in the world, and that's that is extensive in terms of marinas and harbour facilities, and I would say the testimony to the management and the facilities here are second to none. So that's another reason why we're here. And the staff, of course, are normally very lovely.
When we want to be.
There's always exceptions to the rule, but take a little tour of the outside of the boat, the bulwarks or the companionways or side decks. I knew I'd get it right eventually. We have a Portuguese bridge, or what is called a Portuguese bridge up here, which is basically a wave deflector, which you can stand behind, get protection from waves obviously breaking on the bow, but also it protects the windows and things on the wheelhouse. A quarter station here, which is basically a helm station, so that you've got one on each side so that you can steer the boat or helm the boat into its dock and see down the side while you're doing it. And a little interesting feature is that there are no throttles on this. So unlike a modern helm station, quarter station, you'd have a throttle. This just has a button for forward and reverse and neutral. So it goes completely against one's normal logic of how to drive something. So I nearly had a bit of a close call over there when, because I didn't have any acceleration and I got slightly made a Horlicks of the wind and the tide, I nearly took the back end off another boat because I couldn't get any acceleration, because to move from this to the helm position inside, you have to switch them over.
Right.
And that would have taken too long. So although we've got the bow thruster here and we've got steering, we've only got tick over speed on the engines. So that was quite hairy. So we go onto the foredeck through the bridge, through a Portuguese bridge. And this is basically just where all the ground tackle is, and it's not an area that you tend to, I come and sit out here in the mornings because the sun comes up over there. It's absolutely glorious. We've got basically a forward lazarette here, which is a great space for all the fenders, the ropes and everything.
Yeah.
And we've got the compressors in there and all sorts of things. So there's lots of, that goes all the way to the front, so there's lots of space. And then we had these made, funnily enough, by a local. They weren't, one of the anomalies of this boat, as beautifully made as it was, it didn't actually have any rollers, and I worked out why. So all it really did was that you just dragged the chains over this nib sort of here on the hawse pipe, and I worked it out that Robert never wanted to, the previous owner or the the owner, Robert, never wanted to put the anchors down because he was just mooching around in the Saloon. He either went back to its base or was just mooching around picking people up and driving around the Saloon. So he never bothered putting the anchors down. So when we got the boat to make it more usable, we had to have these made, and they were quite extensive. Made locally by a metalworking company in Cowes, which was really great, but it took about 18 months to make them. We designed them and had them fabricated. They weigh a lot.
I can imagine.
Very heavy.
Yeah.
And but yeah, make a big difference to deploying the anchor, because obviously now they roll, the chain rolls in and out nice and smoothly. So yeah, there we are. That's a view of the Flybridge up there, and the radar arch, all the paraphernalia on that. A couple of little features here as well is, this is rather nice. So to put the ropes into the fair leads, these are called fair leads, to put the ropes in, we have these little doors that you can open, which means that you can hand the rope over the top and put it down without having to try and lean over, because otherwise it'd be very difficult to lean over and get to that distance. You can do it fine over there, but here it's such a distance that that little door makes all the difference. So it's a nice little design feature.
So we hope you've enjoyed part 1 of us taking a tour around Delvina. If so, then please do hit that like button and subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you back here very soon for part 2.